It's a sad week for football fans as former Broncos star Emmanuel Sanders officially announces his retirement. Yup, you heard that right. The wide receiver has decided to call it after 12 NFL seasons with 5 teams. Although this news might drive a spike in the hearts of fans, let's delve deeper into what influenced him in making this decision and what the former star has planned for the future. First and foremost, why is Emmanuel Sanders the real deal? Emmanuel Sanders is a former American football wide receiver who played for 12 seasons in the National Football League, NFL. He was recruited by the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 3rd round of the 2010 NFL Draft. Sanders won Super Bowl 50 with the Denver Broncos against the Carolina Panthers and also played for the San Francisco 49ers, New Orleans Saints, and Buffalo Bills. If a player's career crosses over a decade, you know they're doing something right. In the most popular sport in the United States, there are only a couple of spots for each position across the 32 teams in the league, and he managed to seal one. Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders has had more success than predicted. Sanders was a member of one of Kevin Colbert's most remarkable draft classes from 2010, a class that included players like Antonio Brown, Maurkice Pouncey, and Jason Worilds. Those are some pretty big names. In 2014, Sanders would sign with the Denver Broncos, where his career really took to the skies, playing with Peyton Manning. Despite never earning more than 740 yards in a season with the Steelers, Sanders became an immediate Pro Bowler in Denver, earning 101 receptions for 1,404 yards and 9 touchdowns in his first season with the Broncos. Now those are some impressive scores. Remarkably, Sanders has played on 5 different NFL teams and has earned roughly $68 million in his career, according to sources. I mean, cha-ching. Now, let's look at when he announced his retirement. The veteran wide receiver announced Wednesday that he is retiring as a member of the Broncos, signing a contract with Denver to end his noteworthy football journey. The 35-year-old pass catcher, who openly considered retirement following the 2021 season, spent roughly half his career with the Broncos as a 2-time Pro Bowler. After a hefty career with 5 teams, the former Broncos receiver took to an Instagram post on Wednesday that he was retiring from the NFL as a Bronco after 12 seasons, 2 Pro Bowls, and a Super Bowl 50 victory. He mentioned that he gave the game everything he had, and it treated him well, which is why he feels content with his decision, before thanking his teammates, coaches, family, friends, and others who've assisted him along the way. He's ready to move on with a job as a television analyst and has a desire to move on to the next stage of his life. Well, as saddening as it is that we won't be seeing him on the field anymore, we respect his decision to move on and look forward to a new phase. What pushed him to make this decision? Sanders said that even though he's had a couple of teams reach out to play this season, his long-term health considerations, as well as the death of longtime friend Demaryius Thomas in December, played a part in his decision. Former Denver Broncos wide receiver Demaryius Thomas died from issues of a seizure disorder, according to an autopsy report. Sanders and Thomas were teammates in Denver from 2014 to 2018, forming one of the best duos in the NFL. His death sent shockwaves through the NFL and Denver and clearly had a very big impact on Sanders, as the two had gotten extremely close. Sanders revealed that for him, it felt like the right time to call it off. He's been playing for 12 years and has had a great career. It's time to walk away from the game while he's healthy. In a video released by the Broncos, he stated that now he can run routes and play basketball with his son, hang out with his kids, and enjoy his life. I mean, you can't really blame the man for wanting to live the life he's earned. The 13-year veteran could still have a role in the NFL, but after his accomplishments and the money he has made, he could simply decide to end it while his health is still intact, especially if he doesn't get an offer he can accept. Next up, let's take a look at Sanders' outstanding career. This guy has a whole lot of accomplishments to his name. Sanders spent 5.5 seasons with the Broncos after starting his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He reveled in the best season of his career in 2014 and earned Pro Bowl honors, finishing with 101 receptions, 1,404 yards, and 9 touchdowns. He would follow up with another 1,000-plus yard season in 2015 when the Broncos would gain victory in the Super Bowl. Sanders had a remarkable 16 catches for 230 yards during the Super Bowl run. He posted another 1,000-plus season in 2016, making the Pro Bowl again before downsides in the 2017 and 2018 seasons, marked by the underwhelming starting quarterbacks. Sanders called his time with the Broncos, specifically the Peyton Manning era, the best of his career. The Broncos traded Sanders to the San Francisco 49ers in October 2019 as they turned over the schedule. Sanders joined the New Orleans Saints for the 2020 season after 10 games in San Francisco, where he started 5 games, finishing the regular season with 61 catches, 726 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 8 catches in 2 playoff games. He joined the Buffalo Bills for the 2021 season and was still productive, catching 42 passes for 626 yards and 4 touchdowns in 14 games. He'll ride off into the sunset, free to reap the benefits of all the incentives that he earned along the way, and good for him. Now, moving on to other news. Should the Steelers have chosen Emmanuel Sanders over Antonio Brown? On Wednesday, former Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver Emmanuel Sanders declared he was retiring from the NFL. Sanders came into the league in 2010 in the same draft as Antonio Brown. The two played together for 4 seasons. However, when the time came to pay a new contract, the Steelers chose to pay Brown and let Sanders leave in free agency. Our question for the day is, did the Steelers make the right choice in picking Brown over Sanders? Brown went on to have the best 6-season stretch of any receiver in NFL history, but will forever be known as how he ended things with the Steelers. The wide receiver went off on a teammate and skipped multiple meetings and practices before and after the season finale against the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, Sanders went on to succeed with the Denver Broncos for 6 seasons, but did not achieve what Brown did statistically. Emmanuel Sanders drops Batman and Robin take on Demaryius Thomas mid-retirement. Emmanuel Sanders officially pronounced his retirement from the NFL on Wednesday. Even though he will surely miss the adrenaline and the experience of everything that comes with playing football, he just feels it is now the perfect time for him to move on to the next chapter of his life. In announcing his retirement, Emmanuel Sanders looked back at the partnership he had with his past teammate with the Denver Broncos, Demaryius Thomas. Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas were the 1-2 punch of the Broncos in the passing attack for most of the last decade. Sanders played with the Broncos from 2014 to 2019, while Thomas played in Denver from 2010 to 2018 when he was also traded to the Houston Texans. Thomas retired from the NFL in June 2021. In December of the same year, Thomas was found out cold at his home in Georgia and would later be declared dead at the age of 33. Emmanuel Sanders will always remember his friendship with Thomas, made strong by the experiences they went through in Denver and solidified further by the Super Bowl they won together on the same team in 2016. Lastly, here's how close Emmanuel Sanders came to almost being a Chief. 8 years and 6 months ago, Emmanuel Sanders thought he was going to be a Kansas City Chief. The coach Andy Reid was under the same impression. It happened during Sanders' whistle-stop tour in his first go-round as a free agent. As the signing period progressed, his path turned toward Chiefs headquarters near Arrowhead Stadium. He met with officials of the team, including Reid, and then he received the phone call. It was the call Sanders truly wanted, even as he entertained offers from 3 other teams during the course of his free agent search. Then, it was a matter of removing himself from the Chiefs. When Sanders held his first press conference after signing with the Broncos, he said that the Chiefs felt like they had a deal, but they never officially had one. But since he was at their facility, they thought he was going to sign with them. Once the call came in from the Broncos, he immediately knew it wasn't going to be the case. Sanders got a Super Bowl ring, 2 Pro Bowls, and eventually a contract extension out of it. He even found a new home in the Denver area. And all of it happened because the Broncos called him just in the nick of time 8 years ago. Talk about luck. That's all for today. Let us know in the comments down below who's your favorite star. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more. Until next time.